Hey everyone, so I'm going to film a makeup tutorial today using the Sweet Peach Too Faced palette. It's one of my favorite palettes because it smells like peach Bellini. So I'm going to use the Sweet Peach for my eyes. I'm going to use many other products by Too Faced and Kat Von D for my face look. I came across this palette, it was a gift to me. I don't typically buy a lot of makeup for myself. Usually I buy the good stuff when I throw it into my kit for my clients. But I was lucky enough to have somebody purchase this as a gift for me, and I've loved it ever since. It's become one of my favorite palettes. Starting with the clean face, no makeup, just put on some moisturizer. I'm gonna start with my favorite Too Faced Shadow Insurance. We're gonna go in and prime the eyelids. You don't need very much, just about this stuff right there. That much. Put that right onto the eyelid there. Cover all the surface area from the lash line to the eyebrow. This does pretty good, but you want to give it a good 30 seconds to set before you start any eyeshadow application. Going in now, a fluffy brush like this. Too Faced palette. There's lots of colors in here, but I'm going to start off with this one, Charmed, I'm sure. It's just on the corner here, a nice matte taupe brown. Just going to go in my natural contour right up, pat that right in there, create the shadow. There we go. Notice how I'm patting the powder and I'm not swiping it. Once you swipe it like this, that's more of a blending motion, but when you want to put and deposit actual color, you'll want to start patting it right away. I've established the contour, but I'm going to go in and now I'm going to add my highlights or some blending colors. So I'm going to go in with a shade lighter. This one's called Puree. I'm going to go in with Puree right here. Because I deposit the color on Naked Primer, that color's on there for good. You can't really blend it out, so you have to add other colors to do the work for you, which in return, you get better color payoff and it looks a lot better. I'm going in with a nice detail brush like this. Next up, I'm going to go in with this matte Georgia color. It's kind of like a pinky skin color right there. And I'm going to apply it right on top in that brow area. Now once the color has been deposited onto the primer, you can just kind of pat that right in there. Give it a couple swipes to finish it off. I'll give it a couple good wipes to drop off the excess powder, but otherwise we have established our contour and a little bit of a brow bone highlight. We're gonna do the lid here, and I'm gonna do it in this, my favorite color, which is just peachy. It's this pinky, corally, lovely. I'm just gonna pat that out on the outer third in here, bring it into the middle a bit. You'll want to bring it all the way up into the crease and then smudge it out. Go in with a highlighting color. I'm going to highlight the inner third right in here with this lovely gold tone called Nectar. It's a light gold frost right there. And then pat that on the inner third. Lovely color gradient from this coral to the gold, and that's what I was trying to achieve. I'm gonna go in with this color, White Peach. It's basically a white shimmer. It's good for highlighting. We're gonna use that on the brow bone. Now because my eyebrows come into a high arch here, I'm really gonna feather in that white color right into the point here before I fill in my brows. It's gonna lift them up just a little bit more. Summer Yum. It's a warm brown right in here. I'm gonna go right under the lash line, right in there. Cat eyes are my go-to, so I like to do them all day, every day. And my favorite product right now is this Urban Decay Razor Sharp Liquid Eyeliner. It's a little tricky to use, but once you get the hang of it, it's gonna become your best friend. So it's a very pointy brush. What you're gonna do is you're gonna come in and you're gonna start in the middle of the eye and press down to the lash line. There. And then I'm gonna come into the tear duct, connect it to the middle of that eye. Now for the cat eye part, the trickiest part that people most have troubles with, and probably the number one thing people ask me to learn about when they take makeup lessons. The best way to do it is do it with your eyes open. The angle is from the lash line, the lower lash line, all the way up into where basically it'll intersect with the angle of the brow. Okay. What you're gonna do is just kind of take your liquid, create a lovely angle like that, raise the eyebrows just a bit to connect it to the eyeliner you just put on. A lovely cat eye. Again, connecting this lower lash line and intersecting the angle with the brow angle. So I'm just gonna lightly take the edge of the liner, bring it up, and connecting it into the eyeliner that I just put on. There we go. I like my eyeliner really sharp, so what I'll do is I'll take the edge of the brush and I'll just kind of lightly draw a little further when it's a little dry, because I'm gonna extend it ever so slightly, make sure it's a nice sharp cat eye, and then voila, cat eye. I typically like the Anastasia dip brow for my eyebrows. However, I haven't had a chance to go pick any up because I've ran out. So I've been using the NYX micro brow pencil. It's very similar to the Anastasia Brow Wiz. So one side's got a spoolie, the other side has our pencil. I'm going to start drawing a defined line underneath the brow. And I'm going to just draw nice and straight into the arch, bring it down to the tail. I'm overextending the brow about 1/8 of an inch here. I personally really like that line. Coming back up, I'm gonna come into the arch there. And then the hair starts growing right up in here, so I'm gonna pretend that that's actually the full brow. So I'm gonna pull that into my drawing there. We have a lovely brow stencil. Time to fill it in, small strokes. And when I'm happy with it, it looks pretty sassy. I like my brows sassy. You wanna go in and you wanna just kind of brush it out. There we go. Again, coming in with this one here. This one has a lot more hair than the other one, so I don't have to do as much corrective work. Bring it all the way down. Because I have pink hair, I typically go for an ash brown color with my brow pencil. Something I've never really got onto was the pink brows with the pink hair. I found that was a little bit too garish for me. So what I tend to do is I like to do an ash brown brow. To me, it reads natural. It doesn't read too fake. Maybe one day I'll get onto the pink brow trend, but for right now, ash brown has been my favorite. If you're wondering about what color you should use for your brows, think about 2 shades darker. The final step for my eye look will be the mascara. And this is the best mascara you'll ever find right now. This is the Better Than Sex by Too Faced. It comes on a lovely hourglass mascara wand. It's great. My mascara is just a tad old, so it takes a little bit of wedging to get in there. I'll go right in. Beautiful. So now we have completed the eyes and the brows. I'm happy with this look, so we're going to continue on with the skin makeup now. So with the rest of the complexion, after we finish the eyes, I'm going to go in, you clean up under here, make sure there's no leftover fallout or anything, and we start with our foundation. I don't use primer or anything. My skin type doesn't really need it. However, for my clients, I find that just using a really good moisturizer will do the job. Kat Von D Lock-It foundation. This is the light 48. It's pretty awesome. I'll balance between a shade lighter and shade darker. Sometimes I'll mix them to get a proper shade. This is the MAC 183 Lock-It Foundation. I'm gonna go down my T-zone, deposit a lot of color. I'm going for a heavier coverage today because I'm filming on camera. However, for every day and in person, I'll go for a lighter coverage, so probably about a half of this product. So I'm depositing the color in this T-zone area. I'm taking my blender brush and I'm just going to blend it in circular motions. I typically won't go too much into the forehead because I have bangs that come rake over. So I'm going to go really light on the forehead but concentrate more into the T-zone. Which, if you guys don't know the T-zone, it's from here to here, here to here. Kat Von D's foundation's pretty awesome. It's a water-based foundation, so it dries matte. You don't have to set it with a setting powder, which is why I like it. I don't like to set my makeup with powder. I find it reads really cakey on myself. I like a really natural read for makeup. So the Kat Von D Lock-It foundation's my go-to. After I've corrected everything, I like to make sure the under eyes are extremely covered. I tend to not sleep very well. I work a lot, so I get these really dark circles. So what I do is I take some foundation on a finger, usually my ring finger, but today apparently it's my middle finger. I'm gonna pat that right under here. So I've got a lot of product in that area, and then all I'm gonna do is just pat that into the texture of the under eye. This is the best way to not get under eye wrinkles with your foundation or have it crease on you. I don't use concealer. This foundation's got enough coverage for me where I can just pat it right under the eye and call it a day. On the other eye, depositing my color. And then I'm gonna bring it all the way out. Because I have a lovely cat eye here, I'm gonna make sure that that foundation really cuts underneath the cat eye to really pull that cat eye up. So after I'm happy with the finish of that, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna use some blush. And I have a confession to make. I have commitment problems with makeup. So in my kit, I buy a lot of testers, I buy a lot of small individual Christmas packaging, so I don't have to commit to a product before I've tried it. So I have lots of little bits of Too Faced Christmas packs here, and I just kind of use one or two things out of them and then put them away so I can depot them later. So I'm gonna go in with this blush. It's called Mademoiselle. It's from this Too Faced Christmas pack from a couple years ago. As you can see, it's pretty well loved. Get some product on there. And I'm gonna pat it right up into the hairline and the temple and down to the cheek. I love strong blush, and I love it when it comes up high. I've got a triangular sort of face shape, so it's better for me to have it up here. Again, on the side, up into the temple. I'm basically just creating like an echo of the cat eye. It's cradling the cat eye, so it lifts it and cradles it a bit more. I am a blush junkie, so I never use just one blush. I have to use many. So I'm now going to go into Tray Fab, which is another Too Faced bright pink blush, and I'm going to go right on top of that and just give it a pop of color. So next step, I don't do a whole lot of contouring, however, I do add a little bit of shadow just under the cheekbones to make them pop. So I'm going with Too Faced Chocolate Soleil. This is the medium dark bronzer here. And I just go in with the same fluffy brush. I'm not too picky about it, and I just literally just feather in the slightest bit of darkness in those areas by the ear there. And then just give it a couple good swirls. Awesome. So the next step is that I take a highlighter. I really like to make my cheeks pop, so I put a highlighter right on top of here. I'm using a sample of the Too Faced Candlelight highlighter. It's becoming one of my favorites, so I'm probably gonna invest and buy the whole one for myself. I'm gonna go right on top, right in there. Perfect. Just adds the tiniest bit of shine. Makes my cheeks look a little more 3D. So I like to match my lipstick to my hair. It's something I've always done. So I'm gonna go in with this NYX. This is the Ombre Lip Duo, and it's a bright pink to a dark pink. So I'm gonna take the dark pink and I'm going to outline the corners of my lips to create a nice ombre look. So now that I've created ombre on each corner, I'm gonna go in and do the top. So we have both corners now. I do like the bright pink in this. However, my favorite bright pink is the Backstage Bambi by Kat Von D, another tester. It's gonna take it and I'm basically gonna fill in and blend out all the areas of the NYX. So after that's done, I'm gonna do a little finishing touch by taking the shimmer highlight. I'm gonna throw it right on the pout. Lovely pout.